and economic hardship in the country. At a meeting with stakeholders in Abuja, ECPO expressed concerns over the continuous surge in LPG prices. He noted that the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMPDRA, will collaborate with stakeholders to create a domestic LPG pricing framework within 90 days, linking the price to the cost of local production rather than international markets. All right, I'll start with you today, Abaton. Will this ban on LPG exports mitigate the high cost of cooking gas?
Well, I think so far it is purely a domestic issue. Production of LPG gas is purely domestic. There's no reason why the NLG should allow it to be subjected to the dictates of the international price. So far we have it in Nigeria.
We have it here.
And taking into consideration the fact that that's about the best option for Nigeria, free Nigeria to use now. They cannot use petrol. They cannot use kerosene. And you cannot ask them to go to the bush to begin together with firewood. So for now, so far we produce everything in Nigeria, that is sourced in Nigeria. Nigeria has more gas than even the PMS or diesel or some other thing. So let us situate it within the local context before we begin to export it. You can't even believe that nearly all manufacturers in Nigeria have a national pension for wanting to take their goods outside Nigeria because they want to make more money. So far it is solely a Nigerian product. I think we should look at the circumstances within the Nigerian situation, taking into consideration the hardship that people are going through. The price of cooking gas should not even be more than probably 50 naira per liter, rather than taking to 150 naira. So when you don't allow, already in the past, you used to say that people are afraid to use cooking gas.
Because of the safety concerns.
Because of the safety concerns. But gradually it has dawned on Nigerians that it is the cheapest way to perform your domestic cooking and some other things. So in that wise, because of the economic situation Nigeria is passing through vis-a-vis the price of fuel, I think it is incumbent on the government. And I think what the minister has done is in the right sense by asking them to not subject the price of cooking gas to the dictates of global market, especially our neighboring West African countries. So let us give a relief to Nigerians. Let Nigerians have a feeling that this is something. The gas issue has not been mismanaged. We thank God that, unlike the PMS or this been mismanaged over the years, just for now. So let Nigerians feel the impact of having something on their own, so that they can. You can't imagine spending 80% of their resources on transportation, and only to get home they cannot even get gas to buy. So I think it is a right step in the right direction, and it should be enforced. Because the problem now is that enforcement is another thing. We should enforce it to make sure that that price comes down to the barest minimum, which the African Nigerians that have been convinced over the years to start using gas. They use it and they feel a sense of relief because of the economic hardship that Nigerians are going through now.
Well, my gas cylinder is about to finish, and I'm scared right now. A 12.5 kilogram goes for about 17,000 naira. Yes. But with this ban, will it stop the high cost of cooking gas?
It's supposed to. I think that should be the target. That should be the intention of the Minister of State for Gas or the federal government. Because when you stop importing it, in other words, we have surplus within. I believe it will affect the price of cooking. You know, let's not take it out of context. You know how we got here today. Initially, before now, people were using kerosene, we were using charcoal. In Lagos, I was born in Lagos, yeah. And then those days I can recall how some people used to use charcoal. Charcoal, you buy charcoal, and then is it aduga or something like that? And you cook use peacefully. Then, alternatively, you go on kerosene. But over time, what kerosene suddenly it turned into gold that people couldn't access it anymore. And after that, Nigerians were convinced to go for gas. Initially, the fear of gas burning and all that. But with time, Nigerians embraced it. Started going for 1 kg,
you talked
3 kg.
You talked about importation. Nigeria is predominantly a gas province. Now, according to the set, Nigeria's gas reserve stands at 209.26 trillion cubic feet. How come we are in need of what we have in quantum?
Yeah, but
is that not surprising?
You just said it, which means we know our problem. But now that's what the present administration is trying to address. We have this thing in volumes. Let's focus on it. Let's stop importing it for now. Like some states in the north where the governors are saying, no, for now, don't import our agricultural products. So we can feed, let it circulate. So if government can actually do it, we have it in surplus. That is, everybody knows that. So it takes a government to understand this, to say, okay, this is the time. Let's do this thing correctly. Don't import this. Let's make sure first that our people get this, not even, not just getting it, but at affordable prices. First and foremost, because today we're talking about 8,500 for a kilo of gas. So if you're going to, like, if you're using, I think 3 kg of gas, which you're talking about 4,500, then the next one is 5 kg, and then it goes up. And how many people can afford it? So maybe at the end of the day, it will affect the price. I think I want to commend government if they can actually sit on it and make sure it happens. You get what I'm saying? Because it's not about saying it, it's about implementation and make sure it is effectively executed. Nigerians need to, because just go around Nigerian homes, everybody is using gas now. So if they cannot access gas, LPG now, what's the next option? It's not kerosene, of course. So they have to go into the forest looking for firewood. We can't get charcoal anymore. So I hope they stay on it and actually make it work.
Like I said, Nigeria is predominantly a gas province. Now, how can we harness these resources that we have in quantum? How can we stop gas flaring, importation of gas? How can we harness this God's gift to Nigeria?
The thing is that over the years, Nigerians have the penchant for not knowing how to manage its abundant resources. Like I was telling some people earlier today, Nigeria is a land flowing with milk and honey that has been left untapped for over 6 decades now. Do you know that as far back as 1975, the late Chief Obafemi has been talking about stopping gas flaring as far back as 1975, that we have been flaring gas since then, that we should have stopped it by 1980. So by now, Nigeria should be a net
exporter of gas,
to the West Africa.
But we are not.
To Africa. But we are not, because we lack the natural ability or political ability to push it. And secondly, the fact that, look at the case of the NNPC. NNPC, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, was set up to be a corporation, not to make profit. So by the time now that we have a government that said that now it is the honeymoon is over, we want to make profit.
All right.
It has turned to punishment for Nigeria.
All right. So Sunday, we have a caller who's joining us right about now. Yakub, so nice to have you join us on Journalist Hangout.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, and then good evening to your colleagues in the studio. For me, as your colleagues rightly says earlier, as good as this innovation that the government is trying to stop the exportation of.
We lost that call there. But anyway, you were saying, just wrap up on what you were saying.
Well, with that, I wish you that like an NNP officer was having a discussion with us about 2 weeks ago. He spoke about the fact that when you leave the administration of oil reserve in Nigeria into the hands of the bureaucrats, the civil servants, you are likely to get what you are getting today. So we are reaping for lack of management. And that there was a time the NRG wanted to recruit experts, and they now asked NNPC to give them somebody. By the time they gave them the best, it was not the least for the NRG. So they have to get him. So let us make sure it is business. If it is done as a business venture,
it will be taken seriously.
And if it is taken seriously, Nigeria will be better. We should be exporting it to West African countries after satisfying local demand.
All right, then. All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our next conversation, where the impact of decisions or policies lies in effective and timely implementation. As such, President Bola Tinubu has ordered the redeployed and sacked ministers to hand over to their successors on or before the 30th of October. President Tinubu noted that in ministries where there are no ministers to hand over to, the outgoing ministers should hand over to the permanent secretaries. In a statement by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, the President said the merging of the Ministry of Tourism with that of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy, as well as the Sports Development, should be coordinated by the SGF and the Head of Civil Service of the Federation. All right, Tony, I'll start with you on this one. The President ordering for swift handover of the ministers to... is the President sending a strong signal that it is no longer business as usual?
You know, first and foremost, I'm looking at it this way.
Okay.
In time past, I don't know, I stand to be corrected. You dissolve the cabinet or there's a change, or a reshuffle kind of. You know, you hand over, the next day you hand over to your permanent secretary, you know, senior civil servant, then you proceed. Well, I think I'm saying something different. Okay. You say you have time, you have this, between this time and this.
The 30th.
To hand over, between now and 30th.
How many
which
days?
Means,
maybe 6, 7
even if it's 2 days, which means they are still in office.
Okay.
Bring the handover notes, you know, crossing the T's and dotting the, you know,
okay.
Which makes it easy for the incoming minister.
Okay.
To, to understand, because in time past, you're going out, no time to even prepare handover. You just hand over what you think you can scribble to your PS and you move on. And most times it becomes very difficult for the permanent secretary, for the incoming or your successor to take over from you, because you won't understand actually where you stopped, your program, and the direction you make. But if you put all these things down,
the transition process.
Yes, and you're going to sit together and say, please, this is why I stop. And you're going to interact. For me, it will accelerate the process.
Okay.
And then it makes it easy for the new minister to take off, hitting the ground running without waste of time. It makes the job easy, unlike time past when his minister assumed, when the cabinet is dissolved and the ministers are gone, then the permanent secretary will just hand over to the incoming. And there's a lacuna within the short period. But an administration who understand what speed means, what Nigerians want at this moment, and then you have a limited time, wants something different, and this is how it should be. Because most organizations, if you hire an employee and he's going, definitely you need to prepare a handover note comprehensively for your society. You must understand what you're writing before you disappear. So when it comes, you look at it, and it's easy to connect to it and move on. Apart from that, with this until your 30th, you're sitting down with your, So for me, first and foremost, that difference. For me, it's an innovation, something different entirely from the past. So a new minister comes in now, it's going to be very easy, knowing fully well that there's a job on ground that must be done. Nigerians are in need of positive changes. Things must be done correctly. So I give it to the present administration because it's a new thing entirely. I commend him. I commend the president because for over the time we've been, there's been speculation. There's going to be cabinet reshuffle here and there, and then he came yesterday, and eventually, here we are. We've done it, and we have new sets of ministers, and we have shifts. Some have moved to other ministries. It's a welcome development. And I hope we continue to do it. This is the first time. In the past, the present administration, for 8 years, majority of the ministers were not moved. So
talk about the Buhari administration.
Yes, of course. You have a minister sitting redundantly for 8 solid years without doing anything.
Without doing anything.
Yeah. So I commend the present administration for taking this step. So you, as a minister, don't think you can sit in that office and do nothing and you're not going to be watched. So right now they are being assessed.
There's a
so even if it's 6 months, even if it's 6 months, you can go in 6 months if you don't do anything. So this is the first I'm seeing in a long time. And this is how it should be done if you want report, if you want results. Because truly, Nigerians need results.
All right. Merging of ministries. Is the president implementing the Oronsaye report here?
Well, it is not far from it. It it's not far from it in the sense that when you look at the 53 ministers or so we have, and the 256 or so government departments we have in Nigeria, you will see that there's an overlapping of functions between the ministries and all of that. So what is the essence of having 256 government agencies, MDAs, without nicely having a direct impact on the life of the citizenry? I think yesterday, earlier yesterday, they said they matched some ministry. Later in the day, the man said they appointed some minister. So we are moving gradually towards it because we know that a lot of decisions have to be taken when it concerns merging ministry and so on. And I think that, like Tony said, you see, era of business as usual, people who are business-minded, when they run Nigeria, when they run an organization, is different from when military or people who are basically politicians or civil servants run an organization. They want to run Nigeria for business. And I have been telling people that Nigeria is just beginning to start to run a country as a business venture. That they have done with the NNPC, they are doing with the gas, we are doing with many other factors. Any minister that takes power, do you know that we have a minister that is,
that's been scrapped and turned to Ministry of Regional Development? Is this a cost
measures?
As in cost-cutting measure?
Yeah. Yes, it's of course, and yes, of course. Because if you look at it now, you have you have Niger Delta Development Commission, which has been, doing nothing, practically, doing nothing. So now, but since the president's administration came, we're having Northeast Development Commission. We have Southeast Development Commission. Southwest. So why not box all of them together? Why would you leave Minister of Niger Delta? So now a ministry is overseeing this for regional commission. It makes sense, and I think I understand where the president is going.
Let us make sure that we are assessing those people who are in position of power, so that they know that one day
somebody is watching.
Give account.
All right, gentlemen. We have Yakub. Yakub has joined us again. Yakub, let's talk.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think let me just go straight to the point. You see, I give kudos to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with this movement, and then I think Nigerian citizens, we are waiting to see more of this. Because if, as a minister, I think for me, 6 months is okay for us to know what you are doing. Look at, example is Minister of Aviation, example is also Minister of FCT. But I can tell you for free, sir, some of us, I've been seeing a Minister of Power. I'm talking about a Minister of Power, the man that coming from Ibadan, that minister from Ibadan. I was expecting that, if not totally removed, I was expecting to move him from that ministry to another place. Let me give you a typical example.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Yakub. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But, okay.
Because I have to weigh in on it too. On the Minister of Power, a lot of people have written against him.
But what I wanted to ask you, I wanted to ask the cabinet,
come back to
how far-reaching is it? And also,
the reshuffle, right?
Were you expecting more names? And if you're expecting more names, who were you expecting to make a discharge?
I was actually expecting more names, for real. But I want to believe the president knows what he's doing.
Do you have names?
No, because this will mount pressure on the rest.
Okay.
Because he's not supposed to give them notice. They can be removed anytime. It's at the behest of the president. Of course, there are some silent ministers in the Federal Executive Council. Like, you don't see them. You don't see them. They are just there. Apart from not seeing them, they are not doing anything. They are not visible in any way. I can mention some. We have Minister of Agric, right?
Yes.
Do you know the Minister of Agric? Don't. Thank God the president was able to catch up with the Minister of Tourism.
Tourism, yes.
We have a lot of them. We have 49 ministers.
Are you sure?
If I ask me, how many of them do you know? Can you memorize and say, okay, there are no more than 5. I know the ones that are performing. Let's say less than 2% of them are performing. So for Mr. President to take all of them out, I know he has plans. But for him to say, I'm sure of that, and it will happen within the next 1 year.
Well, the caller talked about the minister.
I was going to Minister of Power. Yeah, what Nigeria during the last administration led by retired General Muhammad Buhari. Here, I said it many times that what Nigeria needs is electricity. Once you can get electricity, the economy will run. Once you can get our power right, power distribution and all that right, the economy of Nigeria,
But really, is it about the person occupying?
No, hold on.
Or the entire sector?
Hold on. The person occupying the chair matters a lot because it drives it. So first and foremost, you must understand it. Just as we're talking about handover, if you sit on a chair and you don't understand anything,
but we've had different professionals handling that position.
Somebody has to drive it. It's like, first, you must have that expertise to do it. So that the problem of Nigeria, you also can get our electricity right because it's affecting. Apart from you sitting down here, I know you may be doing one or two businesses because in Nigeria today, you must be doing of course. For you to be successful in what you're doing, you need electricity.
True.
So when the present Minister of Power came, he wasn't getting it right, but I think he's getting it right now. The problem Nigerians are talking about, is the rate. But I think eventually we'll start.
Okay. Anyway,
that's why they want him out.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. We need to go on this quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues. It's still Journalist Hangout.
Thank you.
And cable, great quality, now with the new look.
All right, if you just joined us, it is still Journalist Hangout. I'm still here with Tunde Abata and Tony Waji. All right, the menace of farmers and herdsmen clashes is still a knotty issue in Nigeria, and efforts are ongoing to tame it. As part of this, the Yobe State Governor, Mai Malabuni, has directed the State Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources to hand over all the facilities at the Nizari Livestock Development Center in Jakusko local government area of the state to leaders of herdsmen. In a statement by the Chief Information Officer of the Ministry, Aishatu Tijani, the governor stated that the handing over became necessary as the multi-billion-naira project is ready for occupation and use. Governor Buni reassured residents of readiness of the government to support the grazing reserves for socio-economic growth and development of livestock production in the state. All right, Tunde Abata, I'll start with you. The Yobe State government handing over this newly established grazing reserves to herdsmen. Well, how significant is this?
Well, it is in the sense that this is the first practical demonstration of seriousness to reduce insecurity in our country. Now, people have been the last government toyed with the idea of Ruga, allowing cattle to move from probably Sokoto down to Abeokuta, from Abeokuta to Makurdi. It is senseless. So I think this governor, among the 19 state governors we have in the north, the whole of northern Nigeria can supply the whole of Africa meat if it is properly done. The whole of, what was the place? This Sambisa forest, it covers 7 states in Nigeria. 7 states in Nigeria is enough to grow the whole of cacao we want in Nigeria. So by doing this thing, it's a wake-up call on all other governors to do something similar, especially in the northern part of the country. And for those people in the south who are also shouting that we are hungry, this is an opportunity for them to go and develop their own reserve too. You go and develop their ranches too. Let them develop ranches and not government to run it. It has done well by saying that we have developed this thing, we are going to give it to the people to run. When they run, government will say, okay, we are giving you this thing, 500 million naira, give it to us every year. We don't bloody care. We don't want any cow to roam the streets again. Do you know that in the next 1 year, if that thing is put into use, the quality of meat cow that will come out of that place is going to be better than that will trek from Sokoto down to Lagos. Before they get to Lagos, if a trailer is load of cow about 150, by the time they get to Abattoir in Agege, they have reduced to 100. And the taste of the cow in Kano, I'm telling you, is
different from the one we have in Lagos.
Because really? They have to go through. Yes, now, because they are taking directly from the lorry. So the problem is that the man has started solving the problem. And one of our problems in this country is that we know the solution, but we
implementation,
like to fabricate and to be sentimental about this thing. So there's nothing to be sentimental about. So let all the other 18 governors in the northern part of Nigeria do whatever they can do because the land is there. Let all the, especially Southwest, do you know that as far back as 1959-60, Shifawolo had about 20 farm settlements. Besides that, he has a training, a livestock feed that was specifically set up.
All right, now those farm settlements are...
So why can't we go and revive this thing and make it work?
Reviving the farm settlements.
The farm settlements and the livestock companies that were created specifically for this. Do you know that as we speak now, in the Southwest alone, we have 11 agricultural training institutions. Why can't they develop varieties that will solve the problem? And people are shouting. We have lands that are not cultivated. Sure. And people are shouting that we are hungry. And governors are busy selling the lands for housing estate. I think we have to, this man got it right. And I want to commend him for having, while all others are shouting, the man silently. Nobody knew when they started this project. The man silently.
And that's how it should be.
That's how it should be. But others, before they turn in the salt,
make noise,
they will spend billions of naira turning the salt. At the end of the day,
you won't see the salt again.
You won't see the salt again. So he has done something that is novel. Let all other governors do something like. And I'm telling you, before you know it, do you know how much meat is consumed in Lagos every day?
In Nigeria.
Lagos, let us even Lagos, about 5 billion worth of meat every day.
Compared to what we have in Nigeria.
But establishing a grazing reserve such as this, will it solve, just like what he said, will it solve the issue of the farmer-herder clashes?
To a great extent.
To a great extent?
Yes, it will solve that problem. Why do you think the governor went on that route? Because it has been a problem.
Then if it will solve, then why have they been food dragging all this while?
Just like Mr. Baton said, we know our problem. It's not about gathering committees and saying, we know our problem. It's a will to solve it. We know our problems. Why can't you have grazing reserve? And I'm happy the Yobe State government is starting it. See, over the years, let's say under General Buhari's administration, we had this issue. Day in, day out.
Sure.
Cattle go into people's sweat.
Right.
No compensation. People just go home sulking, and at the end of the day, nothing happens. So, as I said before, we've been talking. Everybody knows the solution to the problem. Instead of roaming these cattle across states, feeding on people's sweat, build grazing, because these are business concerns. You invest. I'm farming, I have my farm, you're doing your cattle business. Why do you want to use your own business to spoil my own? And at the end of the day, no justice. And everybody just go on like that. What the Yobe State governor is doing, I think he wants to set the pace. And I want to, employ the other governors across the federation to do it. Let me put it this way. Apart from the fact that the state government has created that grazing reserve, I can assure you that if there is no law enacted to mandate compliance,
the next administration might just...
It will work. Even right now, it will work. I will expect the State Assembly to enact a law making it compulsory. There must be compliance. If there is no law around it, because it's an age-long problem, how are you going to do it? It goes beyond just, having those grain reserve and telling them, now you have to do it. No, they will not. Because it's been a tradition over the years. How do you start reorientating them? You say, okay, let's do it this way. This is the best way to do it. You must speak to them. They must understand you, first and foremost. Before you don't agree with it, okay, let's use this. Because it's not the norm. The norm is you take it from Zamfara down to Benue, from Benue to Yobe, from Yobe to Sokoto, and keep moving around, feeding on people. So for you to do it, there must be law. It must be backed with law. I was expecting the state to have done that first, approach the state assembly, enact a law, then you unveil this.
Okay, today, do you foresee other governors in the north coming up with this kind of initiative?
They just have.
Well, I think there is good ideas is better copied by other governors, taking into consideration their own local environment.
Okay.
And I want other governors in Nigeria, not only in the 18 states in the north.
So it's a national problem right now.
The remaining governors, especially Southwest, that has a lot of forest, Southeast too, they can copy good things and adapt it to their local environment so that we can prevent people from roaming. Do you know that the life of the nomads will be much more organized? They will have attention to health services, education,
even their children.
They will make more money from that thing than allowing them to roam from Kamfashan to Sokoto, from Sokoto down to Akwa Ibom. It's not what we should do. Nigeria, if we want to catch up with the rest of the world, we should do things in the normal way it is done. We should not go back to
put aside the olden days.
The olden days of those things. Do you know why, like Tony said, why people may not want to make it work? Most of those people, capitalists, they are the ones who own the capital we are looking at. All those Fulani herdsmen are
working for
them. They are
them.
not the owner. They are the ones owning it. So they should have a change of heart. They can make more money by ranching their cattle than making them to roam all over the country. It is not. And you are destroying other people's farms.
So if the state houses of assembly of those states pass the law to make sure that, you think it's a way to go?
Well, it's a way to go. When they pass the law, let the governor implement the law. Let him use the resources of the government, the institutions of the state, to make sure that it works. Nigeria has to change.
Now, establishment of the Ministry of Livestock, the establishment Ministry of Livestock to the achievement of, do you think with this one, that is happening in Yobe State, how significant is it?
Well, it is significant in the sense that I think the president is just trying to, once and for all, officially recognize that livestock business, it should be treated as a business in Nigeria. And it is also an issue because when you take livestock from another place to roam the 36 states of Nigeria, it is causing tension all over the country. People's farms are being destroyed. People who took loans from Central Bank, from Anchor Holdings, they cannot recoup anything. Anchor borrowers. So I think it is a good thing. And it's trying to make sure that the Minister of Livestock, they design policies. Like I said, the terrain of each of the 36 states in Nigeria is different. Let them evolve policies and systems that will ensure that the thing works in each of the 36 states of Nigeria. That is where we can have peace. There's no point destroying other people's farm. It's like Yuba used to say that your business should not disturb my business. Your business of livestock should not say you are a cassava farmer or a maize farmer. Why are you using your cows to destroy my farm? So let us do things in the normal way, how it is done, so that we can get to where other countries are getting to.
Absolutely.
There's no point behaving like as if we are still in 1950, 1960.
Absolutely. All right, we're pressed for time. What are your parting thoughts on this one?
Let's do the right thing. We know the right thing to be done. And as I said, the new Minister of Livestock, Livestock Development, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a documentary.
Where he was doing milk
he has this grazing reserve. Yes, which means if he was appointed, you nominated for that ministry, I think the president knows what he's doing, because that is his
exactly.
That's his position.
We don't have
grazing reserve.
Importing milk.
So we need to get things organized. Yeah, we need to get things organized, not in disarray.
Now, apart from grazing reserves, what other things do you think the government can do to boost that sector?
Boost the
grazing. Apart from grazing, what are the areas?
First and foremost,
do you think the government?
The one that challenges Nigeria right now is this insecurity, and most times, majority of the times, we had cases where most of these headers were pointed. Were pointed as as corporates when it comes to kidnapping across, because they move from states to states. It's on record. So if we can look in that direction, first and foremost, if we can arrest it, I still emphasize on this grazing reserve. For me, it's number one, because we've said it over and over again. Let's get it first. It will enhance that sector. You don't need to destroy people's means of livelihood to grow your own business. Okay. That is where government comes in. Do that. Let's get down first. Then we can talk about others. And for me, it will solve a lot of problems. One problem Nigeria is facing right now is insecurity. I just don't want to go on that yet. But if we can get this right, I'm sure like 2% of our insecurity issues will be tackled. Be tackled.
All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our final story, where it appears the leadership question in Nigeria is becoming more intractable. In view of this, former President Olusegun Obasanjo and the former Chief of Army Staff, retired Lieutenant General Theophilus Danjuma, have decried the dwindling quality and standard of leadership in the country. The two statesmen spoke when members of the League of Northern Democrats paid them courtesy visits in Abeokuta and Lagos, while former President Olusegun Obasanjo asked the group to expand its operations to include the rest of Nigeria. Danjuma challenged public office holders to look beyond themselves and take immediate steps to stem the tide of poor leadership and leave behind a country for future generations to inherit.
Regionalism has been described as the root of Nigeria's problem. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo made this known while receiving a group known as League of Northern Democrats at his presidential library home in Abeokuta. The former president said with good leadership and support from followers with genuine spirit of nationalism, the country can do better.
When you have a national league, I will receive you warmly. I will join you warmly. I will be your patron if I cannot be active because I'm getting old. Nigeria is greater than any of us, or part of Nigeria. And we should see Nigeria in the holistic form that we see. This country can play a very, very significant role in the world affairs.
The leader of the group and a former governor of Kano State, Ibrahim Shekarau, said the group comprises of people of like minds from the northern extraction. He added that the group came into existence 3 months ago as a result of various consultations and discussions. He said the group stands to influence political decisions and the process of recruiting leaders at all levels in Nigeria.
We came together with a clear vision to mobilize and enlighten our citizens the need to join hands together, to work together, and influence political developments regardless of the political parties.
Few days ago, a group known as Yoruba Conservative Union held a rally in Abeokuta, Ogun State to call for the return of the country to a regional system of government, claiming that regionalism allows rapid development and facilitates healthy rivalry among the regions. Kazim Olowe, TVC News, Abeokuta.
Beautiful reports there from our correspondent Kazim Olowe. All right, I'll start with you. What do you make of the former president Olusegun Obasanjo and statement concerning leadership, and also the former Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Theophilus Danjuma on the quality of leadership in Nigeria?
Well, without being unnecessarily biased against them, these two eminent statesmen, they have one time or the other ruled Nigeria before. They have occupied seat of governance before. The first one was Chief of Army Staff when Obasanjo was head of state. Later on, he became a minister under President Olusegun Obasanjo. President Obasanjo is the luckiest living Nigerian to have had the opportunity of 3 times to rule Nigeria. The last time it was 8 years. One thing I find funny about Nigerian leaders is that it is when they leave office that they begin to propound a lot of theories. a lot of things. Whereas all these problems confront them when they were in office, but they least took any fundamental steps to stop it. Look, we are talking about regionalism. Military caused the problem of Nigeria today. But military reversed us today. I am saying they have every right. I'm saying message, but what I'm saying now is that...
Are you seeing the message?
I'm saying the message. The message is that, look, every Nigerian loves Nigeria. Yes, the quality of leadership. They too, they have occupied that place one way or the other. It is the system you put in place that will not bring good leadership. If the system of emergence of a leader is faulty, there's no way you can make it. For instance, now, to become a councillor, if you have to spend about 2 million naira to become a local councillor, what do you think the guy will go to the council to be doing? So we have to look at the process of the emergence of leaders.
The process.
Good things from the leaders. The process of emergence of leaders in Nigeria is fundamentally faulty. And when a process is faulty, there's no way you can bring forth fruit. Because whatever a man sows, so shall he reap.
Now, you talked about the process. But since 1999, since the return of democracy in 1999, will you say our leaders have been seen to meet up with their promises, their manifestos since 1999, without naming names? But what would you say?
You know, I can't tell you they've been meeting up with your promises. Majority of them. From 1999, you say, the dawn of democracy.
Yes.
They've not been meeting up. If they've been meeting up, you know, it's the people that can actually tell you if you're doing well. It's not about propaganda. If they meet up, the street will tell you. You know, the people will feel it. You know, when you make promises, at times some people go all the way to jot these things down and keep it as a record. And then when you come assume office, they take it as you proceed. Majority of them, they meet up.
It is often inferred that we deserve the kind of leaders we have. Do you agree with this statement?
I would have thrown the question back to you.
Yes.
Because we're all part of the... When we talk about, when we see, all of us are leaders. We made those people, you know, because all of us can be at that podium. So we nominate them. So we nominate them.
So
we nominate them.
Leader is
so it's what we nominate them.
Yeah,
exactly. It's what we put there that we get. So this issue of what's this? The leadership deficiency or whatever. It's not. We don't need an Obasanjo. We don't need a Danjuma. We don't need a Shekarau to tell us that we have issues there. Everybody knows. Because, as you said, let's even start from that 1999 date. The kind of leaders who've been churning out, the kind of people who entered politics. I remember that time when the military, when Abdul Salami came, and because a lot of people thought it was a joke, that the military cannot give up like that. And he said, no, we're going to usher in democracy and all that, democratic rule. So the ones who are serious were looking, you know, who doesn't want to spend their money. And I know, I don't want to mention them, some of them who got their money in illicit ways jumped into the fray and were made governors. And that was the beginning. And then they went in there. On 1999, for 8 years, from 1999 to I think 2004, thereabout, or 2006. We know what happened. And some of them are still under trial. Those are the people who jumped into the political scene. Those are the leaders who jumped into the political scene. And Nigerians worship them till date.
Okay.
So those are the kind of leaders we have. And it's from that time till now, we keep having them. We don't have people who want to see service as selfless. They are not patriotic. All they want is, let me get there and make money. So we need to sit down as a country. As I said before, it's not for an Obasanjo and Danjuma or Senator Shekara. We must sit down and say, we don't want the direction we're heading. We need to address this.
Massimo D'Azeglio in 1861 said that we have made Italy. It is time for us to make Italians. Now, are our leaders a true reflection of our society and by extension, the followers?
Well, like I said before, when somebody emerges as a leader, as a commissioner, as a governor, there's a process that has been set in place. It is that process that will determine the kind of leader that you have. Yes, we have a Nigeria, we have Nigerians, and we have Nigerian leaders. But not all leaders are leaders, because most of Nigerian leaders look at themselves when they get to power. They don't look at the institution or the circumstance that has thrown them up. Like he was saying, all these people, look at, it's only in Africa that it is when people have become head of state that they leave the office, they will not go back to school. The reverse is the case in other countries. But our own, they first of all be elected, become governor, they now go back to school to study law. They will not do every other thing. So they will not begin to tell you what the message that are in power. So that is the problem. The problem is that we have Nigerians. But for us to make it better, we Nigerians have to make up our mind that we want to throw up good leadership.
One of the things is that, as Nigerians, do we understand the true meaning of a leader, a good leadership? Do Nigerians actually understand it?
It depends on perception of Nigerians. Because look at a nuclear family. A man, his wife, and the children. Leadership starts from that particular level. If a man cannot produce good leadership, he cannot move into the community. After the community, you see, that's one of the reasons why I like option A4 that Ngosumi is so rest in peace. Because that thing will eliminate you from the grassroots. You cannot get there. Your council, if you want to be president, your local government council will determine whether you are going forward or not. So let us institute a kind of system that will produce the kind of leader that we want in this particular country. And another thing is that Nigeria as a country, we are in short of nationalistic leaders that will knock us together.
Nationalistic leaders
that will knock us together, not looking at any ethnic
tribe or anything, but the one that will bring everybody together.
Unfortunately, after 64 years, we have been unable to produce such leaders in the mold of the First Republic politicians. All this one is
why is that?
It is because we are not realistic about the kind of Nigeria we want to produce. When the whites were going, when the British people were going, they gave us a journal system of government. And everybody can say, between 1960 and 66, most of them, they know none of the governments have been able to mash out because they were governments that were rooted in the people. I believe in a cultural democracy. Cultural democracy in the sense that in any part of the country you are, you practice the kind of democracy that will suit your people.
I think the former president actually said something like
cultural democracy.
He talks about something
so
like
instead of saying that you want to lump up this country together, you see, a multi-ethnic, multiracial, multilingual country can never be run in a unitary style. It is unitarism that we smuggled into Nigeria after 1966 that ruined Nigeria. All parts of Nigeria, they were going on their own way. The North was proceeding, the East was doing their own.
And there was healthy rivalry there.
Do you know that in 1960, Western region was paying more money, more salary than federal government? This is why not a lot of Western people who are in the federal civil service. People don't know. Because when your government can employ you and you pay you better, what do you want in federal? But because we have disrupted that, when you will see that at any point in time in the nation, we have the tendency of going back to the region, always going back. Why can't we just sit down and say, look, Nigeria is a beautiful country. I keep on saying it. Let us develop our ways that is culturally reflective of where we are coming from.
Now, where should the orientation start? From the top or the bottom? Or it should just start?
No, it has to start from the top. Because it's not about starting. It's about the speed and the authority around it. Yeah, if you want to start, because there's something you can't start it from the family unit. When government is serious,
all right,
and that's like I'm happy with the re-energized National Orientation Agency. From what I'm seeing,
yes,
they have an assignment here.
Yes,
I know if they're listening to us, things will happen. Yes, we need to change it.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Tunde Abaton. Thank you very much for having this conversation. And Tony Wang, thank you very much. Appreciate you. And also to the gentlemen of the PCR and also the MCR, thank you very much. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. And join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
I will shed one tear for any broke island bachelor.
I just she have not shown sign of settling down.
Oh, you don't mean it. The power to deliver her disability.
I might have a solution.
You take this and spray it twice. Shake the gentleman. Place it on your lips and say the magic word.
Yes.
Medusa, I'm worried about you. Why don't you settle down?
See how stupid and dumb you sound?
You, my darling, are unlucky in life.
At wedding, you must not cook jollof. You can eat small chops.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Are you tired of spending countless hours in the kitchen, wrestling with cumbersome appliances, and juggling multiple tasks just to prepare a single meal? Frustrated with messy cleanups from different tools that never seem to get the job done right? Do you wish there was one solution that could handle all your blending, chopping, and grinding needs effortlessly? Introducing the CookX 4-in-1 Blender. It's a food processor, a mixer, a grinder, a blender, and a juicer, all in one. Our CookX 4-in-1 blender is here to take your cooking to a whole new level. This versatile blender comes with 3 convenient cup sizes, each designed for specific tasks to make your life easier. First, the 650 ml cup, perfect for mincing meat, pounding yam, and chopping vegetables. Save time and effort with this powerful accessory. Next, the 450 ml cup, ideal for grinding coffee, spices, and more. And the 1.8 liter cup, perfect for blending fruits for smoothies, peppers, and yes, even blending beans. Lastly, the CookX 4-in-1 blender comes with a convenient filter. Now, you can create delicious, nutritious smoothies and meals with ease. The secret of the CookX blender is the 800-watt motor combined with a precision extractor blade that gives you the power to turn ordinary foods into extraordinary foods. And different speeds give you the complete control you need. Savory stew, delicious egusi, tasty blended beans for akara and moi moi, pounded yam, and everything in between.
The CookX 4-in-1 blender has been a game changer for me. It takes the hassle out of meal prep and lets me whip up healthy treats for my family in no time.
The CookX 4-in-1 blender is the only blender I use in my kitchen. Its variable speed control lets me achieve the exact texture I need for each dish.
With its easy twist locking technology and powerful motor, the CookX 4-in-1 blender is engineered to tackle blending challenge you face.
The global best-selling CookX 4-in-1 blender is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from ShopX TV. Call the number on the screen now and get the CookX 4-in-1 blender for just 189,915 naira. The CookX 4-in-1 blender comes with one powerful 800W motor base, one easy twist extractor blade, one 1.8 liter cup, one 650 ml cup, one 450 ml cup, one filter, 2 lids, and one dry grinder. All this for just 189,915 naira. You can get the CookX 4-in-1 blender with 2 easy payments of 94,975 naira. That's right, pay twice to get this amazing blender. But hurry, this exclusive ShopX TV offer is for a limited period only.
The preceding was a paid presentation brought to you by Shop.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program Beyond 100 Days with me, Abosedi Adeniran. Join the conversation on X at TVC News NG with the hashtag Beyond 100 Days. We are staying with the helicopter crash in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, which claimed 3 lives. The accident occurred at 11:22 a.m. along the waterways in Port Harcourt when the helicopter, Sikorsky SK-76, with registration 5NBQG and operated by East Wind Aviation, was en route from Port Harcourt military base to the Numantan oil rig. Spokesperson for the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, a total of 8 persons were on board. The aircraft ditched into the waters near Bonifinima in the Atlantic Ocean. Rescue efforts have been activated with the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau and neighboring aerodromes notified. He added that search and rescue operations have commenced with the support of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority and other relevant agencies. In the meantime, the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has directed search and rescue teams to intensify efforts following the crash. Although no emergency locator transmitter signal was received, manual tracking efforts are underway, and all available resources have been deployed to locate survivors. The minister has reaffirmed the government's commitment to a coordinated response to minimize casualties and provide necessary support to the affected families. And the NNPC Limited has confirmed that the helicopter was conveying its staff. It had taken off from the Port Harcourt NAV base en route the FPSO Noimzantan. The helicopter was operated by East Winds Aviation. In a statement by Chief Corporate Communications Officer Olufemi Shonaye, he said, quote, "We shall continue to monitor the situation and provide regular updates as the events unfold. Our prayers are with the passengers, crew, and their respective families at this very difficult time. We are sure that we will continue doing everything possible to support the ongoing search and rescue operation." End of quote. Our senior reporter Ayomide Ajegbe joins me now for more updates. Ayomide is with me here in the studio. Ayomide, good to see you.
Thank you very much, Abosedi.
All right. As an aviation correspondent, talk us through what you understand about this aircraft and the crash that took place in Port Harcourt today.
All right, thank you very much, Abosedi. Sikorsky, that's the name of the helicopter. It was manufactured in 1923. It's just like you have different kind of vehicles that with their manufacturers, you know. We have different manufacturers of helicopters as well, even aircraft. It's named after Igor Sikorsky, a Russian aviation pioneer who was based in America at the time, and is one of the strongest helicopters in the world. If you go through history, you will discover that it was used majorly for military operations back then. But along the line, they started creating smaller aircraft that could accommodate civilians, which they have been using for a while. Now, if we look at the size of helicopters generally, they can take as much as 1 to 6 persons on board. And also, we have the larger commercial aircraft that take up to 20 to 22. And then we have the ones that can up to 50 to 55. That's the maximum you can have on an helicopter. This particular crash in Port Harcourt, we can understand that the normal level for that helicopter to rise for above sea level is 40,000 feet. Now, this is similar to what happened with Albert Wigwe, who was traveling in the US at that time. They lost the contact with air traffic control, and that's how the helicopter crashed. So we can go on and talk about all of this, but we understand that this particular set of helicopters, they are very, very, it's important for you to maintain them from time to time so that they can be in best use.
So maintenance is key. And you know, Ayomide, there have been similar occurrences of helicopter crash in recent past. Talk about the one that happened in December. In St. Port Harcourt, actually, And in August, there was another that time in Lagos, in Obakran, just very close to us here. What has been identified over time as the major reason for these crashes?
Helicopter pilot error is one of the major issues that causes helicopter crashes everywhere around the world, not just Nigeria. Now, when you go back to some of the major helicopter crashes that happened in Nigeria, you will understand that there's been a lot of things that are attributed, especially from the Nigeria Safety Investigation Bureau over time, and some of the things that were highlighted. You talked about the one that happened in Obakran last year. It was a case of a pilot error in that instance. We have the one that happened on December 1st, still in that Port Harcourt. Pilot error was the same reason. Now, there's one that would have been devastating in 2019 on the 2nd of June. That's the one that involved the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, that was averted in Kogi State. Now, all of this put together underlines the major issue, the major what causes this helicopter crashes in Nigeria. Now, when we put all of this together, will we understand that maintenance is key? Now, if, like we have a normal aircraft, which are not helicopters, some helicopters are bigger in sizes, just like we have some trucks on our roads, and we have the smaller cars. The trucks take maybe 2 or 3 passengers, and then have a lot of loads and some of that. While the smaller vehicles have bigger, much more passengers, but they have smaller capacity for cargo. Yeah. Now, we have some of these helicopters that are designed majorly not for passengers. In fact, there are times they substitute fuel for passengers in helicopters so that there can be safety and everyone will be on the safe side.
All right, Ayomide, thank you very much for this perspective you've given us into this issue. Ayomide Ajegbe is a senior reporter covering aviation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's now bring in Director General of the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, Captain Alex Bade Jr., for more on this. Captain, well, this is breaking news, of course, and we're getting information by the hour. We heard that 3 bodies have so far been recovered. What more can you tell us about this helicopter crash?
Good evening. So far, we don't know too much. We just know it departed Port Harcourt earlier in the morning, and just a few minutes prior to landing, they informed the rig where they were landing that they needed to ditch. And I think about a minute later, they ditched in the ocean. Once that was done, I understand the rig sounded alarm, and they sent out the boats, and a few other boats and ships in the area helped with the rescue efforts. They were able to pick out 3 bodies in the water, but so far they haven't recovered any more. The search and rescue is still ongoing. It's a little late now. I know the Nigerian Navy dispatched a helicopter that went out there, and then I came back to shore because of the weather. So that's really hampered the search and rescue operation this evening. It'll continue tomorrow morning, I presume, probably late into the night, and then early tomorrow we'll know a bit more what led to this. We'll start our investigation.
And hypothetically, do we know the cause of the crash?
Oh, no, that would be speculating. We have no idea now until we get the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, as well as communication between the helicopter pilot and air traffic control. We can start to formulate ideas as to what happened. We will have our preliminary reports out here in about 30 days once we're able to recover the FDR, CDR. I believe a helicopter crashed in an area where between 50 to 100 meters of water, so we'll have to coordinate with the Nigerian Navy for divers to go in there to recover the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorders.
You mentioned it's late and that rescue operations would continue tomorrow. Does it mean that it would be suspended for the night?
I can't say it's been suspended or not. I know there are boats out there, but we're talking about the air components to this will most likely resume in the morning.
All right, then. And the minister, in the statement released, actually indicated that no emergency locator transmitter signal was received and that manual efforts to determine the accident location are underway. What is the implication of this?
Well, first, the location has been it's been located. The crash location is known. As for the ELT, I'm not sure. I mean, sometimes it might fail to deploy. I can't speak as to the veracity of that at this moment. But the airplane or the crash site has been located as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know.
All right. And, from your experience as a captain, what really could have gone wrong with, this helicopter?
That would be speculating again, and I can't speculate at this moment.
All right. Well, we know the NNPC also has released a statement saying that, the helicopter was carrying its staff. There were 6 passengers and 2 crew members on board, that ill-fated helicopter. What more can you tell us, and what kinds of, support could be available in the end?
For the family, we do have a Department of Public Affairs and Family Assistance with the NSIB, so we'll be reaching out to the victims' families once they've been notified. Same goes for the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. Our prayers and thoughts go out to them, so we will be reaching out to them to offer them our support at this time. We will coordinate more with the NNPC once we know more tomorrow. Our GO team will be departing from Abuja and Enugu to Port Harcourt for onward transportation offshore tomorrow to go to the accident scene.
All right, then. Director General, Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, Captain Alex Badi Jr., thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
You are watching the program Beyond 100 Days. After the break, we will talk some more about the rejigging of the cabinet by President Bola Tinubu, where 5 ministers were sacked, 7 new ones nominated, with 10 ministers redeployed. Please stay with us on the program.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu, do solemnly swear.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
School, I need students, but I need teachers.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything. If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet sour taste for all their demands. A familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, no one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Community Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu, do solemnly swear.
Thank you for staying with us on the program. The Nigerian Senate has received a fresh list of 7 ministerial nominees sent by President Bola Tinubu for consideration. screening and confirmation. The list contains the names of the new ministerial nominees and was transmitted to the Senate through a letter that was read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, at plenary on Thursday. President Tinubu reshuffled his cabinet on Wednesday, discharging 5 of his 47 ministers and appointing 7 fresh persons as ministers pending Senate confirmation. President Tinubu's request has been submitted to the Committee of the Whole for immediate consideration. Let's talk some more about this. Policy analyst and economist Saheed Ajadi joins me on the program via Zoom. Mr. Ajadi, good to have you join us. A major reshuffling happening there. And as an economist, I'm curious as to what your take is, regarding this move by the president, and especially the move, for instance, with the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, now designated as Minister of State for Finance.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, Nigerians. It's a plus for Nigeria. Like the last time I was on here, I told you that it's important to rejig the cabinet so that we can have the best of hands and the best of performance from the individuals, and that whoever is not performing should go home. You see, the reality is that the president has just 4 years to give to Nigeria what he plans for us, and that a year has been spent already, getting to 2 years, and so it's a perfect timing to change the ministers, and for me, it's a plus for the president. What it means now is that whoever is been nominated would have to do the right thing and be prepared to work. And the thinking cap must be put on in order to serve Nigeria. This is no more kids' love and child's play. And so whoever was at the FEC meeting yesterday will know that there's no free lunch. Nigeria is not about you just being a minister anymore. You have to do the job and you have to perform. And so for the economy now, what it means for the economy is that we are sending a clear message to the world that we're ready for work and we know what we're doing. Countering what the World Bank said last week, saying that the Naira is blah, 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 one of the best, most horrible currencies. I don't want to say it. Because for me, these are statements that we need to be careful about. World Bank cannot just continue to run down the serious work that the president and the economic team are doing. The same day World Bank made that statement, the Naira devalued from 1678 to 1,710. So it means that accountability must also be a standard for international organizations to just not run their mouth about Nigeria. We are a sovereign state, and we believe in the president, and we believe in Nigeria, and we know that this is the right step in the right direction. And so we should give our president the chance to actualize what his plans are.
I hear you, Mr. Ajadi. Yes, I hear you, but do you now expect to see major policy changes in the economy, with this rejigging that has just, that is taking place?
That's what I'm saying. You see, when the rejigging is being done, we have to be careful with the international Brentwood companies. You see, the president is putting his best for Nigeria, and you can see from get-go, as soon as he came back from his leave, he's had meetings with the people that are supposed to check the performance of the ministers. He has been well briefed by the military. He has been well briefed by the Minister of Finance, and that is what was leading to the rejigging on yesterday. We saw what we believe. I strongly believe, as a patriotic Nigeria, that the president is putting square pegs in square holes, stage by stage. Things have been very bad.
All right.
And so, for us to move back from where we were and to a good position, it takes a little bit of time. It's not automatic. And so all hands must be on deck, including us. And that is why I'm stating categorically that we have to checkmate the Brentwood companies and their statements.
All right, Mr. Ajadi. Let me quickly come in. You've spoken about this being, putting square pegs in square holes and round pegs in round holes. But what do you say about the redeployment of the Minister of Sport, to the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment as Minister of State?
You see, for me, there must have been a recommendation before that was made. There are individuals and organizations of government that are saddled with monitoring the ministerial appointment and monitoring performance. We have to understand that the person that has given this task to individuals, and he has been briefed on their own analysis and their recommendations. It is based on recommendations of this group and this panel that he did what he did. So it means invariably that the individual that was moved to this particular ministry must be well grounded in the ministry they are putting to now rather than where he was before. So for me, we'll give 6 months. We cannot say anything contrary to what he has said now until performance. You see, when we speak, speaking is very, very fickle. But when the actions are being done and we are seeing the results of it by their own actions for 6 months, then the president can situate again and say, okay, this person that we put here must be better here, so let us leave him here. For instance, this is not the last of the process that we're seeing. It's just a start. For me, I feel it's just a start. There is still going to be reshuffling in that cabinet because it is not everybody that is doing the right thing. However, you know, when you are governing leadership, you have to be careful how you also change pattern so that it doesn't affect what is being done and what is going on with the policy of government. That is why I think this is so this is just a step towards getting everyone together. For instance,
all right, Mr. Agadi, before you give that example, please, let me quickly come in here. There have been lots of complaints, really, from Nigerians, and it's been on for a long time. And so for many Nigerians, they were not actually surprised that that move happened. And, just before the rejigging also, the president had indicated that these ministers really do need to go out there and